Hey folks, sorry for the odd camera angle today. So I don't remember where I left off at last time I did a video, but my little car, where you all are always over there on the center console, or center stack rather, whenever I record, lost oil pressure about 2 weeks ago while I was heading to work. And so I was relegated to my wife's vehicle and my Mustang for several days. And the parts nationally back ordered that I need to fix my car. Thankfully, I did get an extended warranty and it is covered. So, coming to you live from the loaner. And here's the crazy thing. In 780 miles, I've got to take it back into them to get another loaner. So, because they get new cars and run them up to 5,000 miles, sell them as used vehicles at a discounted rate. And so, with the amount of mileage I drive normally, plus I've got a 5-day work week this week, 125 times 5 is 500, 625 miles. So yeah, I'll need to take this back next week. Oddly enough, they gave me a slightly larger vehicle with the exact same engine and transmission. Things that I find interesting. So, today I wanted to talk about something that has been bothering me. There's been a term that I've seen thrown around on social media called mask holes. And a lot of people are being mask holes. On both sides of that opinion, controversy, whatever you want to call it. A friend of mine is very much into holistic remedies and things like that. She has given my wife and I several remedies over the years to help with different illnesses that we've ran across where things just weren't working. Well, very, very, very nice woman. I actually used to work with her around the same time that I met my wife, and she's just a real nice person to be around. I've done odd jobs for her over the years when her lawnmowers broke or things like that. Helped her move once or twice due to a ton of other circumstances that we'll just leave alone. But she is very much anti-mask. Now, here's exactly where I come down on a lot of this. I am not claiming to be an expert or read up on everything. I don't know the answers to everything I'm fixing to pose here. But I don't know if the states where mask mandates and quarantines and everything have been enacted, if the states where that has happened have given the governors the power to do so. I don't know. Now, initially, when my state first went into lockdown and quarantine, I was very much okay with it because we didn't know exactly what we were up against, how it was going to affect the United States population, and other variables. So, in my opinion, at the start of it, there were no real wrong answers. Now, as data kept coming in and more information became available, I kind of thought that that a lot of states were an overkill. By a locking down to the degree that they were. So while I wasn't opposed to the lockdowns, I thought that maybe there's a smarter way to do this. Maybe not entirely lock down, maybe release the population by age group and pre-existing health concerns, things like that. So I realized that you have people that are not experts being talked to by people that are experts about things they can't wrap their heads around. And a lot of times it's done in a rush, because while coronavirus has been happening, everything else that whatever level of government we're talking about here, whether it be county, city, or state government, still has to happen. So a lot of times coronavirus is one of the things on the plate. It might be the biggest thing, but it's still a thing on the plate. But the thing I wanted to talk about is the CDC recently released some statistics that are puzzling if they're accurate. 70% of all people that have contracted coronavirus have been wearing masks and using social distancing. Now that's self-survey, that's not, them being observed. And my opinion on it is, when you are at a doctor's office or go to a hospital for, say, a surgery or whatever, the surgeons, nurses, care providers, whatever, they are provided with all the PPE they need to use it properly. As an example, when they come up to you, they, say they're getting ready to start the surgery, and it's a big surgery, so huge number of people there, long surgical procedure. They're going to be exposed to all your bodily fluids, so they're going to gown up, glove up, wear face protection as far as protecting their eyes and their mouth and nose. Well, if one of your care providers, big long surgery, they have to go to the restroom or they have to eat or something, because they are human beings, and even if you're on the table for 16 hours, they can't go without that long. But they're going to see the surgery through. So they take rotations, and one of them steps away to go to the bathroom for 5 minutes. No big deal. They've got to unglove in a careful manner that is trained when you go to med school and do your residencies and whatnot, in order to safely remove their PPE, where they minimize their risk of exposure to whatever fluids of yours they got on their PPE. Well, when they come back, none of the PPE, aside from maybe their gowns and the plastic face shields that protects their eyes, are reused. Everything else is, fresh and new. So, I'm not saying that masks don't work, but I think if you were to look at the number of people with coronavirus that have had it, that have used masks, I think that if you were to study those people and study the 30% that have worn masks and not gotten coronavirus, that what you would end up finding is that the majority of people that were wearing masks that contracted it were not wearing the mask properly or using the proper precautions and safety measures and blah 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 that you're supposed to do when you are using that type of PPE. And I don't know what all the measures are for wearing those face masks. I just know that my company requires that I wear a face mask when I'm on company property, when I'm not outside. so I can step outside for a vape break or just to get out of the building for a few minutes, or when I'm on company property, like walking to and from my vehicle, I don't have to wear PPE in that specific scenario. But anytime I'm in the building, unless I'm eating or drinking, I've got to have it on. Which, that's their policy. They can do what they want. But they did not have a masking class. Like, okay, if I go to take, and I don't know the answer to this. If I go to take a drink and I pull my mask down, like so, and I take a drink and then I pull it back up, am I supposed to use a new mask then? I don't know. I drink over half a gallon of water a day when I'm at work. Very physical job. And in the summer, I'll drink north of a gallon of fluids when I'm sweating real bad. Well, I don't know if I'm supposed to do that or not. I don't know if I'm, how long is a mask deemed good? Like, are you supposed to swap them out every 4 or 5 hours that you wear them? Is there 2 hours? I don't know the rules on all this stuff. I was just told, wear a mask. And every day when I go into work, I grab extra masks in case one of them breaks or falls or gets dirty. That way I can put on another one, and so I've got a handful of masks in my vehicle and whatnot that I can use for occasions. But I don't know how long they're good for. I don't know when you're supposed to throw them out. I know that there have been studies, a lot of the reusable options, specifically the neck gaiter that you pull up over your face, that actually further aerosolizes any spit particles than wearing nothing at all. So the people that are wearing neck gaiters, and I've heard this from reputable sources, the people that wear neck gaiters, while they are complying with the face covering rule, they're doing less than no good. Because it's actually furthering the problem and making it a bigger dispersal of bodily fluids than if you wore no mask. I'm not going to argue with them. I don't see how that works, but I'm not going to argue with them. So neck gaiters are no good. A lot of the homemade masks, it turns out, are doing very little good. I don't know, but there's conflicting data about masks. So, and I take this virus serious. My mother lives with me. She's in her 60s and diabetic. So, I definitely do not want her getting it. I comply with the mask orders in indoor spaces. This past weekend, a group of friends of mine and I went out to a bar and grill as a band, and the 5 of us played some songs for several hours. It was an outdoor venue, lots of social distancing. The tables were all separated, and I walked up to the bar to get my wife and I a drink before we got started, and I didn't put my mask on. I thought it would have been kind of silly to have put my mask on. I'm outdoors. We're right on the Ohio River where we were. Big half-mile across river in that specific area, and so I saw no need to even wear a mask the whole time I was out there. I might have put it on when I initially walked up, before I knew what the area looked like, as far as how spread out people were going to be. And then some friends of mine from work showed up, and I put it on around them. Other than that, I didn't wear my mask. And, those people at work, I'm around them all day, walk up, fist bump, have lunch with each other and whatnot. So if anyone in that group of people had it, it's very likely that everybody in the group had been exposed to it. So I think that, sure, wear the mask, be safe, and even if it's just slowing the spread down some, I'm okay with that, because our healthcare workers definitely need a break from this. But I think that good grief. I think that my takeaway from that CDC report that 70% of mask wearers, or 70% of those that have come down with coronavirus, do wear masks. I do think that there would be a solid point that the science on this is not settled. Sure, it can be a good idea. Sure, it can add an extra layer of protection, but it's not certainty that you're not gonna come down with this. It's not certainty that you're 100% safe. Frankly, in my opinion, and I don't know the data or if there is data to support exactly what I'm saying, but I think it might be a brighter idea to not wear masks, but more strictly enforce social distancing, for the simple reason that if someone isn't wearing their mask properly or isn't wearing a mask that will filter is needed, if they're not wearing a mask and you are distant from them the recommended 6 feet, I think that that's better than a false sense of security. When this... Getting a call.